Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today I want to talk about a very interesting watch company called Schwarz Etienne. And recently they came out with a watch that was designed, or at least part of it, the dial and part of the movement decoration was designed by Voutilainen. And so we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to take a look at their entire line of watches and movements. Very, very interesting company. First of all, they have 5 basic models in their collection. The first one is the Schwarz. The second is a Roswell. It's named after Roswell, New Mexico, where where they think that the aliens landed. The Roma, which is sort of a very general watch, special editions that they've done some very interesting things. And finally, the Fiji, which is a woman's watch with sort of a flower, small seconds, really interesting watches. Now, the movements, they have 4 groups of movements. First of all, the MSC is for manual Schwarz Etienne, and it's distinguished by what they call their patented main plate. And the thing about this main plate is that they can switch things around and make a lot of different movements from it. So the first one is the MSE for the manual wind. The second is ASE for the automatic wind, or automatic Schwarz Etienne. The third is irreversible Schwarz Etienne. What that means is, I don't know if irreversible is really what they meant. I think it's just reversed. And so you can see the balance of the micro rotor on the front, on the dial, along with the balance wheel. So that's where they get irreversible. And finally is the TSC, and this is the Tourbillon Schwarz Etienne. So those are the basic movements. Now you can see underneath each one of them there's a dot, and so that means there's more than one. There's like 2 MSCs, 4 ASCs, 3 ISCs, and 3 TSCs. So not only do they have different movement groups, they have different movements within those groups. So these are all ones that they made themselves. Now the first one we're going to take a look at, this is the Schwarz Etienne Roma Power Reserve. And this is a basic hand wound movement. You can see there's a picture of the back of it. The thing about it that I like, in addition to the fact that it's 3 hertz, is that you can see the 3 finger bridges that are on the gear train. And I like them for a lot of reasons. First of all, you can see it more easily. And then if you have to do something to one wheel, you can just pull out the bridge and pull out and do something with the gear, and then put it back again without having to take off a big plate and all of these other gears that you have to deal with. And the way it's integrated with the balance cock, you can see it's the free sprung balance that they have. Interesting base, it's a base movement. Now this particular one, you can see 2 barrels. It has double barrels on that 4-day power supply. Now one thing I found, you can't find a lot of these. You can find some, and we'll talk about that at the end, a lot more that I did find. Now the MSRP on this is $11,341 in dollars. Pre-owned, it's $75.23 is one I found. I found one on Chrono 24 like this. Now, there were some older Schwarz Etiennes on Chrono 24 for a lot less money, but they generally didn't have the new manufactured movements. They were all ETAs or some other kind of movement like that. So they went through a process of really no movement of their own to speak of, to a very, very impressive set of movements. So this is to me, this is a really brand to keep an eye on. Now, this next one is called the Fiji Floral Seconds, and the reason it's called the floral seconds is that the second hand, as it moves around, they turn different colors. It's really cool. It has sort of a kaleidoscope effect to it. Now this is made primarily for women. The movement is an ASE 200. Now, if you look at the up around 2 o'clock, you can see this little micro rotor that they have there with SE on it. And then to the left of that, around 11 o'clock, you can see the barrel. The point here is this is the same basic base as all of them have, that the movements had the patented modular main plate, and you can see it here. On the previous one, we saw the double barrel, so that's one of the ways that they can use it. The price on this one, this is the MSRP price, is 7,700 Swiss francs. Now this next one is La Chaux de Fonds Petite Seconde Retrograde Tourbillon. Whoa, what a watch. They're fairly expensive. This one's 65,500 Swiss francs, and it uses the TSE 122 movement. And again, there's that base. You can see the base plate on that thing. The small retrograde seconds are up at 11 o'clock. The tourbillon, you can see it at about 1 o'clock. And then you have the off-centered hours and minutes indication at 5 o'clock. So this is another interesting, very interesting watch. It's very expensive, though. This is one thing you'll see is a really big range in these watches. Now, this next one is called the Roswell 08. The Roswell, as a sort of a line of movements, is for Roswell, New Mexico, where they believe that in the 1940s that an alien spaceship crashed and the U.S. military has it, and they're not telling anybody about it. And so anyway, this is the Roswell. The interesting thing about the Roswell is what's called the IS, the irreversible Schwarz Etienne. Now, in looking at this, you can see, in seeing the front, you can see the date in a very interesting place coming up around 1 o'clock. The small seconds, in this particular case, is this little wheel that they have. The micro rotor is at about 9 o'clock, and it's a solid micro rotor, as you see. Then one thing they didn't mention is the date gear, and you can see the date gear about 5 o'clock. And then you can see the little teeth on the gear on the one that goes around it for the date. This is 15,400. There again, this is that movement. The ISC 100.1 is a substantial movement. The case in the lower right down there, you can see the case. The case is inspired by a flying saucer. So instead of getting a box, you get a flying saucer to put it in. If you like that kind of thing, I think it's a kick in the head. It looks like a lot of fun watch to have. Now, speaking of fun watches, they have a whole group of watches called special editions. They are expensive. This one is essentially La Chaux de France type of watch with the TSE 122, the Tourbillon Schwarz Etienne. But what they have is that on the micro rotor is shaped like a little flower, and there's a bee on it, and then has retrograde seconds up at 11 o'clock. And then you can see the tourbillon from the front. Really an amazing looking watch. A lot of fun. 118,000 Swiss francs. Pretty hefty price on it now. Now, the one that is really very interesting is called the Roma Synergy by Voutilainen. And it's made in silver. The dial is a silver dial, royal blue color, hand guilloché, and it's made by Les Ateliers Voutilainen. the traditional hand guilloche from the balance wheels also made by Thierry Voutilainen. And they have the diamond drops in snailing on the ratchet wheel, also by Thierry Voutilainen. So you get a lot of, this is basically a fairly fundamental watch. The ASE 200 is the automatic version of the Roma, really, and it's the 86 hours to it. So it's a very fancy watch. Now this one runs $27,400. Compare that with the base price of a Roma, which is less than half of that. So this is sort of why I call it the poor man's Thierry Voutilainen watch. Now, what I did is that I went out and I went hunting for these. I found that one on Chrono 24, but I found this place called righttime.com. I know nothing about it, so if you know anything about it, you might want to, or if you're thinking of getting a watch there, you might want to check them out. I know nothing bad about them, nothing good, but I found these watches, and they have some very good discounts. This the Roma, the one on top left, the list on that is $99.95, and the offer they have is for about $6,000. It's a significant discount. They have another one, the Roma GMT, which is about $12,000. They have it on sale for about $7,000. They have one that's a Roswell. Can't help liking Roswell's, with the irreversible ISE 100 on there, automatic movement. You can see the micro rotor from the dial, and then of course you can see the balance wheel up there around between 1 and 2 o'clock. And there's another one, this one's called the one on the far right, lower right, is called the Roswell Voyage 1. Here you have an MSRP of about $16,000, and the offer is for about $9,500. So you can find, if you search around, you can find some good ones. Now remember, some of the older ones don't have the Schwarz Etienne movement, so you don't want those, not unless they're really cheap and you happen to like the looks of them and want to watch with an ETA movement. Anyway, that's I think it's a really interesting one for looking at high horology. I really like the way they handle the movements and the different kinds of movements and what they're doing with them. It's certainly a watch company to keep an eye on, to check out. And like I said, you can get a poor man's Voutilainen. Instead of $80,000, you can get one for about a little under $30,000. Lucky you. Let me know what you think. This is an invitation to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection.